I'm working on a video about ghost ponds.
Hold up. He had me. What is a ghost pond? No. I don't know why we need to bring the ghosts into this. Well, today I got absolutely scared out of my pants by an emergency alarm off my phone saying that the UK is on fire. So I think it's only fitting we watch a video called The Brutal Truth About Britain's Water Crisis.
Britain is burning. Our rivers are running dry, our reservoirs are depleting, and farmers across the country are watching crops die in their fields. And millions of us are being told to turn off hose pipes, to take shorter showers, and just to use less water. But there's a massive contradiction here that just doesn't add up. Britain is notoriously wet. We are obsessed with rain in this country. So
Hold up, not by choice. The wording there is that we're obsessed with it, like, oh God, I love the rain. No, that is the single biggest thing we moan about. There is a lot more important things in this world, and we choose to moan about the natural fact of where we live, and that is just going to rain. And the hosepipe bans, just for a little bit of context, for people that aren't in the UK, that happens every year. I can't remember a year, even growing up to now, where there wasn't a hosepipe ban at some point. There's like a week or two of heat, and then all of a sudden you can't use your hosepipe anymore.
So how on earth did we end up here? Is this purely down to climate change? Is it billions of litres leaking out of aging pipes? Is it sheer political failure to build basic infrastructure? Or have we systemically been dismantling the very natural landscapes which we...
All of them, all of the above. Check on the multiple choice. There is no one thing that is just the downfall. It's all of them. It's being cheap, not investing in the future of it all. Climate change plays a part. Is it the only reason? No. Is the government silly? Yes. Are the pipes old? Yes. Everything about this country is dated, aging, and needing another quality pass for future-proofing. It's akin to using duct tape to try and fix a leak. Is it going to hold, potentially, for the 5 seconds that you need it to look good by your report standards? Is it going to burst off the second it gets a partial bit of resistance? Oh, 100%. That is the UK in a nutshell. Does that feel nice?
This is my favourite tree, and look at the leaves. So right now Britain is in the grips of a pretty severe drought. We've just had the driest July on record, and it's affecting almost every aspect of our lives. And behind all of these headlines which we're really seeing on this drought is a fundamental breakdown in how we manage water in this country. Now, while we're living through one of the hottest and driest summers we've had here in the UK, we've also just lived through one of the wettest winters we've ever had.
Yeah, that was the weird thing. I think it was until my birthday in March, England had rained every single day. Like, we didn't have a day off. So when the summer was coming around, I was honestly half expecting it to just be one of these miserable summers, because we had one maybe like 2 years ago, where I think we had 2 weeks of sunshine. The rest it was just raining. So I was like, oh God, here we go again. I mean, we've actually had the hottest. I can't remember a summer that's been so consistently hot and dry. Genuinely can't remember a hotter summer.
So what does that tell you? Well, firstly, it tells you that our climate is in these violent extremes where we're experiencing these deluges during the winter, but also these long droughts during the summer. But it also tells you that we are catastrophically failing to retain water in our landscapes. Rain is treated as this unwanted byproduct which we need to flush off the land as fast as possible into our rivers and off out to sea. So to understand why this is happening, we have to talk about the skies above us. We have to talk about the climate. So the UK's weather is driven by the Atlantic jet stream, but as global temperatures rise, that jet stream is becoming unstable and a little bit sticky.
You know what most places in the world are becoming unstable? The instability of the world, it's very much mirroring the fact that nature is also becoming unstable. I mean, it's quite an ironic fact. There's also as well, he said, rain is treated as something we just need to get rid of. I have someone that works, I can't remember the company, but it's basically the water company for the South. I believe we went without water for maybe like a week and a half. No showers, the tap water or anything like that. They were giving out bottles of water. The reservoirs where they get it, like swelled or something like that, and they basically have to flush it or something. I don't know the specifics, but all I know is that somehow our system that's meant to want water at some points has to get rid of it all because it had too much.
We have a steady mix of, rain and sunshine passing through. We're getting stuck in these weather systems. When a high pressure heat dome settles over the UK in summer, it sits here for weeks, baking the ground. And when low pressure winter storms arrive, they drop months of rain in a single afternoon. And what happens is once the drought finally does stop, and it does rain, and we're really hoping it does rain soon, because the ground is so dry and it's so rock hard, that water, it can't seep into it. You know, just think of a dry sponge. When you initially run it under the tap, the water kind of runs off. And that's a problem, because if the water can't absorb in, it hits it in this deluge and then it rushes off. You know, that is desertification, and that's happening here in the UK. Now, it is far more complex than that, and there is an awful lot to say about the climate, but just we need to understand that these weather extremes create this vicious cycle.
Sorry, just seeing this image, like off rip, I think it was last year, I heard, I think for the first time, because I've lived here all my life, in a place called the New Forest, which is kind of alarming when you start getting forest fires, I'm not going to lie. I think that was the first time that I heard that something was on fire, and it wasn't like arson. I know that's like really sheltered when you don't come from the UK, but that, I think that's just a testament to how things are evidently changing faster than we thought. I mean, we've got warnings going countrywide. That is not normal. It might be normal everywhere else, but it's so alien to the UK.
Britain is so vulnerable to drought isn't just that the climate is changing, it's that we've deliberately stripped away our natural defences. Historically, Britain's peatlands and wetlands acted as massive natural sponges. They soaked up winter rain, stored billions of litres of water, and slowly released it during our dry summer months. And instead, what we've done, we have totally degraded all of our peat bogs in our uplands. We have, you know, dug in, you know, thousands of miles of drainage ditches, and our rivers, our river systems, well, we've canalised them, we've straightened them, and we've absolutely destroyed the floodplains either side of them. And in doing all of this, we've destroyed our landscape's natural capacity to hold water, to hold billions of litres of water. I mean, is it trillions? I don't know. I know it's a lot though. So that's the messed up natural systems. We now need to talk about the messed up artificial systems, the human systems which we've built.
I mean, there's no quality in the UK anymore. If you ask someone from the UK, they'd give you a million different reasons why this country's not good anymore. And every single one of them would be probably correct in some capacity. But you could really boil it down to the fact that this country has been neglected. England is so old, almost harder at times to get something old to be appropriate for the time than it is to just start again and get a new modern system in place. We don't have any money. Well, we do, but it seems to be spent in all of the wrong areas. Could really boil it down. The drought, everything in this country is just neglect. Unless you have a massive cash injection, which they just won't do. So we can talk about this water crisis. It's going to carry on until we invest in the long-term future of everything of this country. It's just not going to change. For a country that likes to sit and act like they are, you know, one of the biggest economies and everything like that, we're just not. It's play pretend at this point. We're nowhere near.
Water companies. Every single day in Britain, we're losing 3 billion litres of drinking water due to neglected pipes. It's just seeping and leaking out. You know, that's enough to meet the basic needs of millions of people across the country. And, you know, it doesn't stop there with the water companies. I mean, like, how long do we have for this video? You know, over the past 30 years since the water companies have been privatised, we haven't seen a single large-scale reservoir built here in Britain. There has been insufficient and very little investment from water companies into the infrastructure to provide Britain with the basic water needs, with sewage needs. I mean, we haven't even mentioned that the sewer overflow systems are pumping out sewage into our rivers, and that's because of a lack of investment from water companies who have been paying themselves in dividends and profits like crazy.
Seriously, I mean, some of the rivers and even the oceans around are absolutely gross. I think if I go out and see one, I'll take a photo. It just looks awful.
It does go on because now we're seeing AI data centers being proposed and built across the country because they need to keep thousands of supercomputers from overheating, drinking millions of liters of water every single day. Please do subscribe to Leave Curious because I'm going to be making more in-depth videos about these topics which I'm speaking about here in this video. So when you have these
Hey, real quick, halfway through. It's Leave Curious, by the way. I'll have a link in the description.
Operations and these industries which are booming, it just doesn't seem right that we as regular people are being told to use less water, to, you know, not use the hose pipes. And, you know, I must say that I really do believe in the collective power of individuals, of regular people like you and me coming together to work toward a greater good. And, you know, maybe that action is not using our hose pipes. But in the context of water in Britain, there is just too much corruption for me to look at that and just accept it. You know, while it is
100%, by the way. Yes, could we make it better by not using things? Should we have to? No, and that's the big point. And he's raising a really big issue there. Should we have to limit ourselves because of their shortcomings? No.
you doing something, us hearing from an expert, and committing some money to nature restoration, I think it's a really well-rounded way that we can have an impact here at Leave Curious. So yeah, scan the QR code here or just head to joinleavecurious.com. I'll also leave a link to this in the comments of this video and you can get your name down.
I'll sit through the plug. I'll sit through the plug because it's for a good cause. Anybody that wants to do that, please do that.
So I know a lot of this can feel really quite depressing, really quite sad. I don't know about you, but my socials and my news feed has just been completely full of what feels like the entire world, which is just burning around us. You know, there have been some catastrophic wildfires in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's just terrible to see. However, if we work with nature, water systems, natural systems can recover remarkably fast, and they can have a lot of fantastic impact. And we cover them all the time here on Leave Curious. You know, regular viewers will know that we don't just love, you know, wild animals and beautiful natural spaces. We love seeing these places come back and be protected, because we know that if they're healthy, they'll underpin everything here on Earth. Now, we'll say again that nature-based solutions are only a part of the pie, but they're a really tasty part of the pie because, you know, more often than not, they're self-regulating and they're pretty cheap to get going. For starters, you've got peatland restoration. You know, UK uplands, this is our first major defense for drought and for flooding. If we can make these areas hold water again, if we can restore the rainforest, if we can restore the peat bogs to these landscapes through blocking drainage ditches and digging these bunds in, you know, you must have seen these recently on the channel. You know, that is how we restore our uplands.
Do you know what? It looks like a bunch of giant elephants just stampeded through here. That's pretty much what it looks like to me. I'm sure it's very efficient, but I'm just now imagining giant-sized elephants. We have enough problems. We're dry as hell. We don't need them.
Secondly, we must restore our rivers. We have to allow them to meander. We have to allow them to breathe and to move off out into the floodplains. We need to, you know, connect that riparian habitat back. And of course, we have to bring back the...
No, they can go. They can go. No, let's not say let's bring back and then show this. That can go. No, we don't need any more of those. There's even a thick bit in those leaves. Less spiders, please.
Animal which, you know, creates wetlands like no other animal. I don't think any other animal can physically create wetlands, and that is the beaver. We're already seeing the beaver come back to Britain. It is here in the wild, but we need to really enable it. We need to get it into every suitable watercourse that we can, because it will hold back water and retain it in the landscape during drought. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen a beaver wetland during the summer, but they remain these beautiful, dappled, sunlit pools of water. And we also need to restore our temperate rainforests in our wetter regions over in the west, because, you know, these are not only captivating and quite honestly the most beautiful habitat which we have here in Britain. They also create microclimates that lock moisture into the soils, the canopies, and they keep entire valleys hydrated.
Do you ever think it becomes a bit of ego? Like, you know, nature's pretty good at what it does in creating a very healthy ecosystem for itself. Do you ever think it's ego that we think we know better? I mean, obviously some things we've had to do to make, you know, the quality of life, and you kind of do have to have some pushback against nature, as is the way of being human. And people expect a quality of life that sometimes does not align with it. Do you ever think it's just like sometimes just ego that we're like, nah, we could improve that. And then when it doesn't work, nobody takes accountability and it just backfires. And then just they throw their hands up like, how did this happen? Kind of seems like a recurring theme.
Even during these prolonged heat waves. And if we can shift the way that our agricultural systems work with water to actually hold it in the land, to have, you know, ponds. You know, I don't know why we don't have more ponds in the corners of every single field which just retain the water. I mean, what a fantastic resource that would be, not just for nature but for the farmers too. Be sure to subscribe because I'm going to cover that. I'm working on a video about ghost ponds. You know, yes, we're in a drought, it hasn't rained in...
Hold up, he had me. What is a ghost pond? No. I'm sure it's not what I think it is, but I don't know why we need to bring the ghosts into this. We do not need the paranormal to fix this problem. I'd like, let's stay out of purgatory, please. Let's just have ponds.
An awful long time, but you know, our landscape, Britain, isn't dry just because of that. It's dry because we're failing to manage water in this country. I feel like this video is quite timely, so I wanted to get it out pretty quickly. So if you feel like I've glazed over any of the topics here, don't worry, subscribe, because I will be covering these issues in greater detail. If you've enjoyed this video, then I really reckon you'll enjoy watching this one here next. On screen here is the sign up for the free
Dead Christmas trees are saving this town. You are tempting me. You are tempting me. I'm not going to lie. I might watch that at some point.
Leave Curious email list. Click on that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Leave Curious.
www.vid. Yeah, please do go drop a sub. We did it halfway through, but please do. Really well-made video. W channel name. And seriously, yeah, it left me curious. Fixing something for the short term a lot of times costs a lot more than fixing it once for just a bit more investment. Do you know what I mean? As always, I'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. Much love. Bye, 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 bye. Oh, God, I need a piss.